So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the Brexit backing Tory peer, the chief executive of Next. Complaining about Brexit again. Really, he's complaining about staff shortages, and he's moaning that the government are blaming industry, which to an extent industry are to blame, but there aren't enough people in the country to do these jobs. So it means you're going to have massive amounts of vacancies, which is going to massively hamper our productivity. But that's something Boris Johnson doesn't understand because he does not have any knowledge of economics. Neither does Patel, apparently. So one of the UK's most vocal pro-Brexit businessman has delivered a withering counterblast to Boris Johnson's claims that industry is to blame for labour shortages which have disrupted supplies of goods since the EU withdrawal. Now, for anyone who doesn't understand why this is an issue, if you don't have staff, it means you can't sell stuff. If you don't have stuff to sell, it means you can't make any money, which means your company takes a massive hit. And when you're a FTSE 100 company that's traded on the stock market, which I believe Next are, that's caused you massive problems with your share price. When you're the chief exec of a company or whatever, your job will be put at risk if you do not do well, if the share price is full. So that's one of the reasons why I think this Lord Wolfson character keeps talking. So Next chief executive and Tory peer Lord Wolfson said the government's pro-Brexit immigration policy was causing chronic problems for a range of sectors, including restaurants, care homes, small businesses, hospitals, fruit farms and warehouses. So it's interesting Wolfson's gone down this angle because obviously he doesn't want to make it about himself, and he's talked about multiple different industries. So the key question is, why did Lord Wolfson vote for Brexit? That's not clear. Did he think that it would open up new emerging markets for us to sell in, very far away? Did he think that it would open up immigration to other countries that where the living standards are lower than in Europe, so he could essentially pay people less? I don't know. I don't know what Wolfson's end goal here, but he did not get the Brexit he wanted, which is becoming a running theme of Brexit. This is not the Brexit I voted for. So Wolfson has said the Prime Minister's call for businesses to fill labour gaps by paying homegrown workers more risked a 1970s-style inflation spiral, which inflation is around at 4% I think this year, and it's only going to keep going higher as we reach the end of the year. Johnson angered many in the business community by blaming the HGV drivers, the shortage of HGV drivers to deliver supplies of fuel and supermarket food on a history of low pay and poor conditions. Now, Boris Johnson, to an extent, has a point here. Low pay is a massive problem in the HGV driving industry in the UK specifically. In Europe as well, but UK specifically. We'll talk about that. Poor working conditions. Lorry drivers have spoken more and more about how bad the working conditions are for drivers, which, again, these are things the government could have fixed and mandated. Successive governments have closed, public facilities, things like public toilets. Where are these drivers meant to go toilet? They're not allowed. Certain supermarkets don't allow them to use the facilities in those places, which is absolutely stupid. And the truck stops in the UK are rubbish. They close at like 7, and if there's no space, you have to sleep out, essentially park up on the street, which is very dangerous. So yeah, the industry does suffer from historic low pay and poor conditions. But these are things the government could have fixed if they wanted to. If we look up here, these other industries, restaurants, care homes, small businesses being exempted, hospitals, those are specialists that they need there to fill up those jobs. So it's down to low pay, which is the government's fault. Fruit farms, again, a very labour-intensive job, and warehouses, another labour-intensive job. So these are industries which they would struggle to improve. Restaurants, you can pay people more, but restaurant jobs are difficult. Working hospitality can be hard. Care homes, a very difficult job in itself, which doesn't pay enough, especially given the difficulties of the job. But these are things the government could have improved if they wanted to. If the government wanted to, increase the power of unions or mandate minimum wages for those industries, they could have done so, but they choose not to. Mr. Johnson angered many in the business community by blaming the shortage of HGV drivers. We mentioned that, sorry. The Prime Minister said on Sunday that he wanted to move away from a broken model of the UK economy that relied on low wages and low skills and chronic low productivity. Now, UK productivity is decent. It's not that bad. We were the sixth richest economy. You can't have a rich economy with low productivity. So that accusation doesn't make sense. Low skills, well, you could fix that through decent education, which you've made significant cuts to. And low wages, which the government could push up if they wanted to at any moment. So these 3 points they made here are just ridiculously bad. He accused industry leaders of putting on pressure to reopen the gates of cheap immigrant labour in order to keep wages down. Well, if you wanted to actually skill up the country, you would have invested a lot more money into education and apprenticeships and other skill-based training schemes to help people skill up if that's what you wanted to do. But you didn't, did you? So let's be real here. This is on you guys once again. Industry does have a part to play in this, but it is mainly down to the government. They could change specific things if they want to. His analysis was backed by Kwasi Kwarteng. Imagine having your analysis backed by him. That is not a ringing endorsement. He said the current disruption was part of a transition to a high-wage post-Brexit economy. So, is that happening? No. Certain industries are getting pay rises. That's because there's chronic shortages in them. But for the most part, people aren't getting wage increases. That's not happening. Productivity is getting damaged because there aren't enough people to do the jobs. So the points these people are making here are just phenomenally bad. But it went notably unmentioned in Sunak's keynote speech to the Conservative conference in Manchester. That's not a surprise because if the economy looks bad, then that's going to look not great on him. Wolfson said the government must be under no illusion about the scale of the labour shortage following the end of free movement. Now, in certain industries they have made exceptions, like the HGV one and the one for butchers and abattoirs. They have made exceptions for those, but not for other key industries. The dearth of drivers is just a very visible example of a chronic problem affecting thousands of restaurants, care homes, small businesses, hospitals, etc. and more, along with all manner of seasonal work. He wrote, the government needs to invest. What annoys me is they talk about an Australian-based point system, right? But they just focus on people who have, quote, higher skills. But the UK needs both. The UK needs people to pick fruit. It needs people to work in warehouses, physically intensive jobs that people in the UK don't want to do. Work in care homes where you're going to be put helping elderly people, which again is a very difficult job, which definitely doesn't pay enough. And we're seeing people that work in care homes move out and work for Amazon and other companies because they pay more and the hours are more flexible. And it's less difficult in terms of mentally, I'd assume, the work. So it's just crazy that the government just don't understand this. Of course, businesses can and should try to recruit workers here in the UK. Believe me, businesses everywhere are trying. But we are seeing a massive spike in UK vacancies with an unemployment rate of 4%, which is quite low, especially given the last 2 years we've had. But if the problem is that employees are simply not available in sufficient numbers, then cash alone cannot conjure up more people. That's true. You can't. If the people aren't there, then you can't do anything. Seasonal work can be a particular problem in this respect, especially as you need more people in, especially around Christmas. Especially in areas of high employment where many local people already have permanent or higher skilled jobs, where you're going to have to pay over the odds for people to work in a company like Next. Because people will be on decent money and doing jobs that they have been trained to do and probably prefer. Working in retail sucks sometimes. In these circumstances, raising nominal wages can only result in 70s-style inflation spiral. Now, Lord Wolfson doesn't want to increase wages for people because if he wanted to resolve the problems, he would say, look, I've increased wages by, a few pounds an hour. People still aren't joining. It's not my fault. It's the fact that there aren't enough people in the country. But I don't think Wolfson has done that. So Wolfson is aiming to keep wages low. He can talk about this 70s-style inflationary spiral, but we have seen the country where wages are not increasing, but costs are. So is Wolfson actually doing his role and increasing wages for Next workers to keep them there at Next, but also help recruit other workers? No, because that's what he wants. He wants freedom of movement, so he doesn't have to increase wages. But I've got news for you, Chief. They aren't going to open. They're not going to restart freedom of movement. It's time you start paying workers more. Wolfson called on government to ditch its policy of offering work visas on the basis of assessment of national skill shortages drawn up by the Migration Advisory Board, or committee even. Instead, he said the visa system should be demand-led, with businesses permitted to sponsor as many migrants as they need. So what he's saying is businesses should be able to pay for, I think visas and things like that in order to deal with the staff shortages. That's how chronic they are. On the condition that they pay overseas workers the same as their UK colleagues and contribute around 7% of their wages to a government visa tax. Well, if those businesses pay said visa tax, that's an idea. If they don't, then no, don't do that. But you can see how bad it is, where businesses are offering to pay people just to come to the UK to work. It's madness how bad things are right now. My worry is that our political leaders will get so caught up in the heat of the argument they will miss the solution. And this is a Tory peer who's saying this. He's meant to be on their side. Post-Brexit Britain can have the best of both worlds. It really can't. We can have an immigration system that accurately gauges the number of workers with the right skills in the places that they are most needed and ensure overseas workers do not displace or undermine UK workers. We can enjoy the prosperity that overseas skills can deliver to our economy and avoid the risk of undercutting UK wages. The best way to stop undercutting UK wages is to raise the minimum wage. That's the best thing to do. Have strong unions. But also, yes, we need more people to come into the country. This is a major problem. But once again, another story of not the Brexit I voted for. What this man's endgame is, who knows? But I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. We are facing major problems in the country and they're not going anywhere soon. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.